Hey, good morning. Welcome back to another guitar session with Jason Carey. Today I'll be Jason Carey once again, your host. And I wanted to say good morning. And I'm not sure if anybody's on board yet, but we are here and we are kicking. And we're doing this thing. It's not listing as live at the moment, so I'm not sure what's going on. Maybe it's let me restart this thingamajiggy. And I hope you all had a good day yesterday. Practiced guitar pretty hard yesterday and reshaped my fingernails later in the evening last night, and watched a little bit of television while practicing in the dog room with watching TV with my wife last night. So that was pretty fun. Just like old school, like you know, the old high school days, middle and high school days, just sitting around playing the guitar, you know, learning TV theme songs and stuff. So good morning. Oh yeah, we've got Marlon on board. Good morning, Marlon. Good morning, Kevin. Good morning, Robbie. Mr. Smith. Good morning, Mark. And we have some more live stream action coming up, but we're just I'll go ahead and announce that. So I think I'm going to announce that stuff on my community tab, on my posts tab. So there's a little place right there that I'd like to develop sort of a little back and forth with frequent flyers of the channel, so we can, you know, carve out paths forward if we have specific things that we want to work on. So I'm going to get back on board. I've spent a lot of time trying to dial in these live streams, and you know, on the back end. And if you have questions during the live streams, like where you wanted to take off to and some other curated videos that might be upcoming, I'm totally interested in that. Like, what do you consider to be watchable, and what would you feel like a really detailed video, a really detail-oriented video? Is it a song that you want to work on? Is it an exercise? Is it something else? Is it so let's go ahead and if you could help me out with that, that would be awesome. You already helped me out enough by just being here, so I don't really expect anything other than seat time. Really don't expect anything, actually, but I do like the welcomes in the morning. The welcome messaging is like huge for me, and especially when we see like a newcomer in the live chat that starts chatting early, like if we could sort of help flood them with like that gratitude and that welcome, you know, like if we had a newcomer into our group, we would all probably stand, we would all probably rise, be at sort of, you know, and welcome them with a round of applause. That's typically what we do to new membership in some organizations that I participate with. So that it's a wonderful feeling to be met with applause. So thank you for doing that and helping me do that as we get moving. Every free minute I grabbed the guitar. Kevin, you are a monster. You are a monster. It's awesome. Mark, top o'clock, the morning crew. It's rock o'clock. Hello, Raul. Got you on board this morning. That's, you know, it's great to see you. If you haven't checked out Raul's channel yet here on YouTube, check it out, because I'll refer back to it again as we proceed through our warm-up series. He is going through a really cool guitar, a couple of really cool guitar workbooks, and he's illustrated and continuing to, I think, illustrate some really great warm-up techniques with us on his channel in the morning. So we can start borrowing those ideas. He's got some great things going on over there. And Gregory, hey, good morning, bud. Yeah, that's the way I feel. I feel kind of like I'm melting snow in my yard with a flamethrower this morning. We've got a snowstorm coming in, and I'm sort of anticipating snow removal. Guess what this is? Guess what time it is? Time to get jiggy with the tuning fork. Radish, Gregory censored himself. That's a good thing, man. We're quite a crew here. We've got this beautiful culture of respect going on, and it's just going to grow. It's going to continue to grow. Okay, there's the A440, and we've been going through some old archival footage of some high school and middle school performances in the old band 𝘕𝘕𝘍 too. It's kind of been fun to see those things. And so pretty exciting times over here. Let me just get a little bar flutter to just try to zero out my bridge. And let's get that just zipped into tune. I always think it's pretty fun to do one of these. Radish, good morning. Are you a newcomer? I think, Gregory, I think we've got a welcome to some new people here. I might be missing something. Good morning, you absolute legends. Yes, yes, sir. Good morning, all guitar for everyone. What? Sup, dog? Yeah, sup? I'm with you, Kevin. Let's do it. All right. Yeah, I know you guys are these. So what we've got here, we haven't heard from Anthony yet, but he's, what gauge strings? What gauge are them strings? Boglum Industrial Complex. The gauge of these strings are 9s to 9 on the top, and then probably like a 40 something too, maybe. I think. I purchased this guitar around Christmas time a few years ago, and I haven't really played it until, much at all until this week. So it's kind of, this week and last. It's a really fun guitar for me to play. It's got this nice, mahogany back and a split flame maple top, book matched, and then the binding it's basically a Les Paul, but it got like an 𝗵𝘂𝘳𝘍 RG series guitar. It's super fun to play, and it's it's got that Sweet Child of Mine written all over it. There's Anthony. Good morning. Hats off to the mastermind. That's the guitar player right there from Denim Dennis. I don't know if you've heard that band yet, but if you haven't, you might be missing out. Just saying. So Denim Dennis right here on YouTube. Wonderful, wonderful. Check out the song called Journeyman to get started, and you won't be disappointed. We're starting with, if you're just tuning in, I think we have a few new members here, or new members in the live chat. I wanted to take a minute to welcome you all. I'm not going to be able to keep up with all of the live chat. Mr. Husband, Dan, good morning. Gene, good morning. I'm so excited to join this. Thank you, Gene, for doing this. You can see I'm equally, and most of us are equally as excited, and we're all chomping at the bit for me to get us started. So I won't keep us. Can you show proper bend technique? I heard you're not supposed to bend directly up and instead use some sort of rotation. Well, yeah, let's talk about that. 𝗏𝗄𝑗 and so little girl setting on the gauge setting. Yeah, that's right. That's don't hurt your little fingers. Well, if I was playing some jazz, I'd have flat wounds on one of my rigs, and those are probably 13s, right? So there's a banging. My flat picking rigs are all strung with 13s, and on a lighter day I'm using 12s, and then on my Stevie Ray Vaughan rig I probably have like an 11 on the top, and so don't feel too badly for me. I'm not all wimp. Part wimp part of the time, depending on the approach. But it's all, you've got to save that reserve for when you really need it. You got to keep that extra stuff in the tank, that extra fuel in the tank for when you really need that reserve. So that's important. Good night, bro, from Indonesia. Anthony, you rock on. You are rocking, man. Anthony is a great singer too. This whole thing is just such, it's so on fire. It's hard to explain it. So let's take a look at, rather than hear me talk the whole time, now let's go ahead. We've got 10 minutes burned already, so I'm going to encourage us to breathe. If you're just joining us, we do this every weekday morning. We warm up for the betterment of ourselves, our own person, our guitar lives, our family lives, if that's the case, our community lives, our performance lives, our guitar lives. Maybe we have recording sessions scheduled for today, later in the day, and we're just warming up. If you're a professional guitar player or you want to be a better practitioner of the guitar, this is the place to slide into for free every weekday morning at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we're just starting with breath. So I feel like I've got, 9 cups of coffee in me, so I've just got to get my body and my mind ready for this process. So day number 4, fingerstyle week. So it's all index middle for me this morning. Until we get into the last 15. The last quarter we'll review some of the stuff that we've been doing over the span of the week, and just kind of check in with that stuff and check our progress. Maybe offer something new, but probably not today. I'm not sure. We'll see what happens. I do have a new item that's easily folded in. We'll see how we do in time. We're starting with 4 attacks per beat, 60 beats per minute, and we have fingers 3 and 4 on frets 11 and 12. So we have 1 E and a 1 Z and a 2 Z and a putting on my shoes in. And it's just like this. And I'm paying careful attention to the metronome. The metronomic click is super important to me. And if I can't hear the click, I'm playing too loud. This is specifically designed to get me warmed up and ready for the day. I haven't heard a response back from YouTube about the live streams going out mirrored. And it looks like I'm still backwards today. But as soon as I hear a response, I'll let you know. I might send another bug in their ear today. And this is the place from whence we came, which is back to the full circle, which is all we really want to do at this point. Just warming it up. If you're hanging out, you think a friend, a guitar player friend, a relative family member, anything, like if your bandmate wants to jump on, this is a great place to come and join with your snare drum and you do work your rudiments against what we're doing. So if you've got your drum pad, Mr. Scott K-Fish was one, he's like, this is a great place to just show up with your drum pad and then work the rig with, other musicians. So all of this works for bass guitar too. Fingers 1 and 2. Move over fingers 2 and 3. I'm not sure what planet I'm on this morning, but we have fingers 2 and 3 on frets 11 and 12. 1 E and a 2 E and a, you know what to do E and a. Proper bend technique. Let's do that. Yes. So Dimitri, good morning. It might take me a couple of seconds to get to that bend question. Just got to get my head on straight here. So if you're patient enough and you have the time to just hang out and join us for a second. Most of us here have a guitar in hand, I'm assuming, because I saw Raul, our friend here in the live chat, actually recorded an entire session of him following along with the video, so I know there's documented proof that at least one of us is doing this. A along with every morning ritual. So the whole point of being here every weekday morning at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time is that we get the seat time, we get the repeat, you know, and then eventually we might not notice any benefit or any gain for it. Could seem like weeks and days or weeks, and then all of a sudden, like bang, the bike doesn't fall over when I take the training wheels off. The bike stays upright. It's a little squirrely, so I know I've got to perfect my ride. But then one day, you know, I'm bombing down the hill at 65 miles an hour, winning a, you know, a world mountain bike point race. So, I mean, it all starts somewhere, right? 1E and fingers 1 and 2, 11 and 12. 1E and 2E and putting on my and. Yeah, I know Raul has proved that he's actually doing some of the work here. And he's got a lot of really cool exercises listed out on his YouTube page at the moment. So I would recommend checking it out. I checked it out, I'm going to continue to check it out. We might incorporate some of that new stuff at the last 15. But we're just using 1 and 2 and then just getting familiar. So there's one of the things that we find that we're going to have to do as players is decide where we want to separate from being the the sheep, and then we become the shepherd. You know, there are things that we're going to have to learn how to specialize in if we want to distinguish ourselves within a market. Yeah. And it's even challenging enough as it is. You know, Mr. 𝘕𝘵𝘠𝘠𝘠, a great world-class upright bass player, was telling me once, he's like, you know, Jason, we're not the marketable type. And, you know, I still haven't really figured out what that means, because I don't know if I believe it yet or not. But you know, it's been shared with me. So let's fingers 3 and 4. We have fingers 10 and 12, 1E and a 2E and a, so you know what to do. And Raul, your videos are awesome and are making me practice more. The discipline is impressive. Looking at purchasing a new guitar this weekend. Maybe bring your helmet and chin strap and try to contain your excitement. I get so excited about new guitars. It's like the first time every time. You know, to quote that amazing song. What are you getting? 30. I would be very excited. I'm excited alongside you. All right, so we've got those stretches going. We're starting with stretch. We're continuing with stretch fingers 2 and 3. 1 and a 2Z and a putting on my shoe. Yeah, just really easy, simple. You know, I want to work out, take these fingers for a walk. And I'm really working on shifting my ergonomics to really focus on getting these second and third fingers now. So I'm really working on, I'll show you a stretch that I've been trying to do to improve this situation. And if you're still hanging out for that vibrato idea, there are a few things to talk about there. When we use vibrato or a bend technique, but we're using vibrato basically to ornament a sound or breathe some life into an otherwise lifeless tone. If we bend up, we perceive the note out of pitch. If we bend up in pitch and then come back down to the tone, that little bend up, we perceive that as being out of tune. But if we somehow can bend below the tone and get back up to it, we don't perceive that as out of tune. Now, for rock and rollers, like if you're listening to Talking Dirty to Me, Poison, you know, we don't care about being out of tune. That's part of the allure, is the risk of that, you know, S and D and R, the rock and roll. So we don't really care too much necessarily about being, you know, out of tune. But if you wanted to play like an in-tune vibrato, it's hard to illustrate on this floating bridge, but I can, if I use enough friction on one single string, I can push toward the bridge, and then it loosens the string just enough to make it microtonally descend in pitch, and then return to 0. So that's a good way to do it. Typical, like B.B. King, you know, like you know, is to keep that hand reverse karate chop on the bottom of the guitar neck. Use that as the pivot point, and then that's you know, and it's kind of like a wrist wiggle, like you're flinging something wet off your hand. It's that kind of momentum, that kind of motion. And if you want to just a lot of us just kind of do the regular, you know, go for the easy stuff, and then. But if you get it done right, you can push the string. Whoop! You don't want to slide, but you want to just stay where you are. If you push it, if you can get enough friction there, you can really reduce that pitch by quite a bit. So let's go ahead and do fingers 10 and 12 on frets, fingers 1 and 2 on frets 10 and 12, and we'll walk through that. Continuing along, if you're just joining us, welcome to the morning ritual for guitar growth. Today we're talking about morning ritualing for guitar growth and improvement, personal improvement, and we do this every weekday morning at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and it's free for all of 2025. We're just going to motor all the way through 2025. 1 E and a 2 E and a 2 E and a 4. And what we do is we show up with guitars in hand. You can head over to 𝘠𝘁𝘁𝘍𝘍𝘍 in the live chat, his YouTube channel, and you can witness, like, he actually recorded himself working along with this warm-up and how he's doing it, how he's approaching it, sneaking a yogurt in, you know, in between breaks. So it's just a morning ritual, just one of those things to be engaged with. We're hopeful to have, you know, generated some really lofty goals for this year for ourselves. But this is a starting point. This is sort of like where the rubber meets the road for me. Don't forget to breathe. I'm working on guitar posture. I'm working on fretboard awareness. I'm trying to not need to look at the fretboard to roughly know where I am. I kind of have learned these measurements with repeat gross motor study, right? And we're off to the races. We're off to another finger stretch, a beautiful finger stretch between 2 and 4 and then 1 and 3. So we'll start with frets 9 and 12. 1 E and a 2 E and a, you know what to do, E and a. And I'm really working on trying to get that good posture, finger posture, and staying close to the string, even though I'm not, you know, I mean, maybe I'm just coming off the string, but trying to keep my digits like within a 1/4 inch at the most away from the guitar string set. So the theory is that I have a quicker response time, getting back to the string. So this speeds up my technique when I want to engage in faster passage work. Hey, from Brazil. Incredible, I hear, Anthony. Can't wait for you to enter Mr. Sandman video. Enter Mr. Sandman. Nice. All right, fingers 1 and 3, frets 9 and 12. You know, we've got that on 2 and 4 now. So we've got a little backbeat. Changes the feel around a little bit. Putting that metronome on the upbeat, you know, the backbeat. guess a house from me, like a few miles up the road from me, this morning was burning, fully engulfed in fire this morning. Licked in flames, you know. A couple of years ago, we had an fuel tanker explode right at the end of our road, and that was quite a newsworthy. My footage ended up on the Celtics Jumbotron. Pretty crazy. And it's, you know, nobody was hurt. The mail carriers were told to exit the rear of the building, and the couple of guys one of the guys who was a retired Army officer, you know, one of the high-speed blokes jumping out of the planes and stuff, he's like, no, I don't think so. I'm going out the front of the building, and the siding it was so hot. The siding was burnt, was melting the siding on the front. The heat from the fire was melting the siding on the front of the building. The guy went straight out the front door, straight over to the burning truck, could explode any time, grabbed the guy that was passed out unconscious in the cab, yanked him out of the truck, and pulled him to safety before the thing went bang. Just crazy stuff. Just insane stuff. Heroes everywhere, man. So fingers 2 and 3 and 4 on frets 10, 11, and 12. Cool guitar. Thank you so much. It's an 𝗵𝗔𝘄𝘳 RG series. You can find these on the internet, you know. I don't think you can buy them. Maybe you can still purchase them in new condition. I mean, they're relatively cheap. This one there's a version with a hard tail and a version with the soft tail like this. I wanted some, I was really looking for something with a, you know, a bar on it. Play Wonderwall. I love that song. I did do a video of Wonderwall on my channel. I don't know if you're still here, but if you wanted to go check out that video, I would love to see a comment over there. Mr. Husband, only 9 likes, crew. Let's bump that up. Yeah, 10 likes now, 11 likes. That's unusual picking method. Whoa, play some Lydian dominant. Here we go. All right, Isaac. Now you're speaking to my inner guitar fire. Oh, the old Lydian dominant rears its ugly head. Lydian, I'm super bright, but I'm dominant. I'm Lydian, but I'm dominant. I'm Lydian, I'm bright, but I'm dominant. Really interesting set of tonalities to play along with. So if you figured out what the characteristic chords were of Lydian dominant, and then you build just a 2-chord vamp and you create a loop, maybe we can do that. I've got a looper plugged in this morning. Maybe we'll get to that. If you just 2 or 3 different loops, you could spend a week just trying to work through, if you're fresh off the gate, fresh off the bat, fresh out of the gate, and you're really, you know, looking for something new. Lydian dominant is kind of fun. It's a fun thing to do. It's the right thing to do. But right now, I don't know if you're just popping in, Isaac. I'm going to encourage you to come back and continue to raise those issues every weekday morning at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're here every weekday morning. I should be stretching right now. Let's go ahead and do a quick stretch. 7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard for the entire year of 2025. Yeah, I know. It's free. You know, I've got, apparently I have all of this extra time that I didn't know what to do with, so I thought, do I want to wash dishes for an hour, or do I want to play my guitar for an hour? And I put it up on, you know, I put it up against the light. I put that question up against the light, and I said to myself, dishes, guitar, and I weighed it, and, you know, here we are. It's got a, you know, actually the dishes are done every night before bed, you know, close of business. We run the house like it's, you know, like we run business. all of our previous day stuff is closed out, you know, locked down, washed up, put away, previous to going to bed, because we're like that. And I don't know why we're like that. I guess we could live any other way and just be as happy, I guess. Oh, I saw that somebody, I have a comment here that somebody wants to pull the like button, but they're not sure if they really dare to or not. I dare you to. Difficult decision. It is. It is. I have to deal with it every day. Play some jazz, brah. Do you have some film on your channel, Isaac? Mr. Des. Alexander, good to see you. Proud gay man playing the guitar, talking about housework. That's funny, Alexander. I'm happy you're here. And I don't know if you're aware, but we're definitely looking to continue along with the culture of respect in our live chat. And I just wanted to let you know that, okay? So here we go. 1 E and a 2 E and a 1, 2, 3, 4, go E and a. And then we're using all of those 4 fingers now because we've earned it. And we're heading all the way down to position number 1. Position number 5. Approaching number 4. I always thought, you know, helping out around the house was more masculine than anything. You know, kind of like leading the house. I thought maybe just there are roles to fulfill, I guess, in my world. And it doesn't matter really who does the thing, but what matters really down deep is that the thing gets done. So like, if you're, let's say you're playing dobro, and let's say you're a partner, and you show up in the band, and you haven't, you know, or it could be the guitar, and you made a series of choices that don't take care of the business, my end of it. Let's say it's me. Let's say I don't take care of my end of my business, and I show up for practice. Some of us can relate to this directly in this live chat, because we've got ensembles and trios that we're actively working with and rehearsing. So if I was a guitar player and I show up and I didn't do my job to improve myself and learn the material before practice, or if I didn't, you know, if the dishes didn't get done, irregardless of who doesn't do them, like how do I make breakfast and not get like botulism or you know, hepatitis or something, you know? How does that translate into preferences? I just don't understand that. So let's do this 1, 2, 3, 4 stretch. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4 stretch. 1, 2, 3 stretch 4. 1 E and a 2 E and a, you know what to do E and a. Ethan, how you doing this morning? Why do you need film on my channel? I was just wondering if you have any videos where you're playing guitar. Retro, hey. Good morning. Phrygian dominant, please. Do you find these warm-up exercises are really helpful? I do absolutely none. You don't do any. I think if you practice the if I watch like some drummers will like have a feel, you know when like Harry Chapin, for example, like Jim's father, Mr. the singer's father, when Harry sat down at the drum kit, you knew when he sat down and he was like getting ready to play or something and just getting himself comfortable, and he'd sit down and he'd play the kick drum and it'd be like just an off the cuff thing, and you knew just by the tone and just by his his delivery of that note, you knew something real was about to happen. And I think that translates into the life of any instrumentalist. Again, you know, I want to take that with a grain of salt because we all have our own goals and our own paths to follow. And so anything that I'm doing here is, you know, take it or leave it. But this is what I'm personally choosing to do over the entire year of 2025. It might be a good idea to use this I use this as a warm-up tool so I don't get up to speed. I'm not going to drive my van, you know, my Mercedes buggy onto the highway just from a stop, you know, and then I'll just get smacked. If I'm on the Autobahn, you ever driven the Autobahn? Man, I've driven an 𝗿𝗂𝗫𝗫 and just crazy. And, but I need that on-ramp to get up to speed so I can merge with the other players who are up to speed. So this is my day-to-day thing, you know, and this is, you know, I feel really good about it. Sometimes the warm-ups are, stretch back. Position we're reaching back for 8, and 1 E and a 2 E and a, you know what to do, E and practicing patterns through scales like the 𝘕𝐿𝐴𝐴𝐵𝐵𝐵𝐵𝐵𝐵𝐵𝐵𝐵𝐵 thesaurus of melodic scales and patterns. I think would be that kind of stuff would be a really useful, you know, thing for me to do after the warm-up. This is just to get my body and my mind. I'm talking a lot because I'm running a show right now. But if I was practicing this for 1 hour, I have, you know, how many clicks in an hour? Whatever 60 beats per minute is in an hour. I'm playing how many notes. I'm just going to focus on breath. Tonal control, dynamic control. I'm going to be hyper aware of every glance of every fingernail over every string. I'm going to have my eyes closed. And I'm going to continue to remind myself to breathe. And I've found that over the years doing this, you know, maybe I'm not at that place at the moment, but I've found some really high and attained personally, like from my own personal feel. I feel like it's helped me to attain very high levels of musical conversation, and that's what I'm shooting for. And yeah, I mean, I'm not sure how else to address that. So let's go ahead and take a look at 1, 2, 3, 4 diagonal. Actually, you know what? Let's go ahead and do one of these. Let's go ahead and do 1, 3, 2, 4. So we're going to start working with some of the things that Raul has been introducing to the group. It's a little bit of a tongue twister if we haven't done it before, and then when we descend, we'll ascend 1, 3, 2, 4, 1, 3, 2, 4, and we'll use 1 and 2 and, so 2 attacks per beat for now. And once we reach the top of that position, we'll descend a position, and then we'll stay here, and we'll use 4, 2, 3, 1. And we'll focus exclusively on tone production. Okay? 1 and 2, and here we go. Ooh, a little glitch there. So yeah, I guess in a long way, long circumtangential way around the answer. Let's start that again. 1 and 1. Let's put it on 2. And 1, 2 and 3 and go. And 4, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1. In a circumtangential way, I do find it useful to do these sort of finger exercises. Oh, so I think we're using, I forget the pattern, 1, 3, 4, 2, 4, 3, oh yeah, there we go. When we descend, we're using 4, 2, 3, 1. And each pattern here has a real world application, but if we didn't practice it, we would never be able to play it in real time. And so, you know, we're generalizing here, and I haven't heard that term in a while. I've been digging the Phrygian vibe lately. Love those tones, yeah. Sometimes some of the connotation gets lost in translation, you know, with the text or with the live chat. Welcome, Isaac. Keep warming up with us every morning. You won't regret it. Respect from India. Good morning. Nan Pradhan. Have you heard the record with 𝗿𝗏? And it's called Tabula Rasa. Let's see, where are we at? 4-1, 4-2, 3-1. 4-2, 3-1. Oh, geez. I feel like I'm just getting dressed for my first day of school here. But that's the trick, is to find ways to have the guitar become new every day. And each tone is carefully curated into a little point of perfection. And only through that repetition, the part 2 of the 𝘊𝘁𝘁 interview is out right now, by the way. And there were some really killer pull quotes in there. I think maybe I shared some of those with Guitars for Everyone. Guitar for Everyone. I think I shared 2 of those pull quotes, and you're gonna it's so crazy to hear the drummer from Santana talk about why we're basically doing what we're doing here, right? And there's no growth without, you know, the repetition. The repeating of the thing is the only way to unlock the thing. And it's just mind-bogglingly simple for me. And it helps me to not feel like what we're doing every morning is asinine, right? To know that other players of that magnitude, with that much money floating around their performance and recording environment, that they still talk about being music first people. They still talk about being, I'm developing myself first. My music comes second. They're not one and the same. They're two very distinctly different things. And there's only one road through it, and that's through repetition. And so if we're not instrumentalists or not vocalists, or we're not studying a high art such as what we're doing now, it might be a difficult thing to teach that level of appreciation to a layman, to a lay person. But we all learn how to eat with a fork, right? And if I'm going to take my etiquette and my table skill to be seated with royalty, I need to study up on the next level of etiquette. And so that's kind of what we're doing here. We're globalizing ourselves, I think, so we could confidently walk into any musical situation in the world and feel good about ourselves. And by feeling good about ourselves in a situation like that, we allow others to continue to feel good about themselves. Otherwise, we have no business being there, right? That's just how it works. That's the, if you don't have the stuff together, we really have no position on the bandstand, right? That's basically the long and short of it. But I wanted to do this. We have another minute here. I'd like to do these 1, 2, 3, 4 exercises. Just work through that with the index and middle fingers. We could actually just kind of like work at alternate picking like what we've been doing here. If you're working with a pick, it'd be just down, up, down, up, down, up. But we're working with 1, 2, 3, 4 frets 9, 10, 11, 12. And then we just descend. And then we descend 9, 10, 11, and 12. And then we descend the position 4, 3, 2, 1. And then we do 4, 3, 2, 1. And then we descend the position. We do 1, 2, 3, 4. And then 1, 2, 3, 4. And then slide down 4, 3, 2, 1, 4, 3, 2, 1. So what we're just trying to do slowly is this. 1 E and a 2 E and you know what to do. You can hear how tones are ringing one on top of the other one. I want to eliminate this in the next round. So top strings, stock string grouping is string grouping number 1. String grouping number 2 is the 4 middle strings. So there's no bleed or no ringing from tone to tone. It's a clear single note line. Now a little ringing. And you see how all of this sort of compounds to create our own path forward. We could all play the same exact set of tones and we'll all end up playing. It's like fingerprints, right? 1 E and a 2 E and a string 4, 3, string grouping number 4. No. 1, 2, string grouping number 3. 1 E and a 2 E and a you know what to do E and a. Like if you know, I mean, if you listen to your favorite guitarist, you can probably name who that is, right? Just by the way they touch the instrument. I think I know Jim Hall when he's playing. I think I know Kurt Rosenwinkel when he's playing. I think I know Paige when he's playing, you know, Mimi Fox when she's playing. I think I understand who's who. And that's a pretty cool skill to have, just to, you know, listen that at that level of appreciation for who's who, you know what I mean? And I've been digging the Phrygian dominant. We're going to get in, I'd love to get into that stuff. I don't have any film, but I hopefully you join the channel. Jump on board every morning, 7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard. We're here for the entire year of 2025. I'm here for better or worse. And so far we've been gaining momentum. We have a couple of benchmarks that we're setting. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Respect from India. We have, let's see, Bela is so good. Have you heard the Tabula Rasa record? That album is unreal, like unbelievably good. Talk about musical ambassadors, you know. Waking up and warming up, what I do with the rest of my guitar day is complemented by this socially interactive warm-up in the morning. I love that. Bingo, ding, 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 ding. Do you like Nirvana? No, I don't like Nirvana. I love Nirvana. You know, this, I'm not a left-handed guitar player. This is just, it's a flipped screen. I've already sent in notifications to YouTube and they haven't fixed it yet. Well said, Jason Being said, check out Anthony's version of Fire and Rain. Excellent for the common man. Oh yeah. Is that a Kezil? No, it's not. I wish. One of my good friends has a beautiful like 8-string Kezil, and he's it's headless, you know, and he's just a monster, Mike 𝘕𝘔𝘁, and just a killer guitar player. I'd love to own a Kezil, you know. It's like a dream guitar. They're really great. This is my this is a really fun Ibanez. It's an RG series, but it's kind of like built like it was, as if it was mahogany back and sides, flame maple top. It's built like as if it were, you know, Ibanez had a baby with Gibson Les Paul, right? And thank you, Kevin. So grateful to be here with you guys. Word, Anthony. I don't like reggae. Oh no, I love it. Peace Crusade all tomorrow. Dan, thanks for coming by this morning and sipping on some bean with us. And just so I can say that legitimately, let me just go ahead and do that. Gene, can I explain this exercise slowly? Are you talking about this one? Oh yeah, snowshoesies today. Gotta roll, good day. God bless. Travel well, my friend. All right. Can I explain this exercise slowly? I can. So I'm looking for a way to activate all 4 fingers at, you know, and get them to be all part of the table, all one big happy family. Typically my 4th finger is not very strong. Typically it is a little bit, we'll call it, we use the term weak link. And what I try to do, you know, on some brief explorations into the world of general mountaineering and rock, you know, general practitioner mountain climbing, and you know, you have to make some decisions, some careful decisions before you put anyone else on your rope. So usually, you know, 1's great, 2's good, 3's sort of a good balance, you know, for a team. For, you know, it's lengthy stories behind that, I guess. And I'm not an expert, but I just have a very basic understanding of teamwork. And so I'm thinking like every finger's got to show up and function. You know, some of us don't care to use the 3rd finger, and we make brilliant guitar careers and have great, happy, well-adjusted, joyful adult lives. Anyway, and that's cool, you know, and so it all depends on how you want to live it. But I think you know, I have 4 fingers. It's a gift. And I want to cultivate the most out of what gifts I have. And so this isn't just a natural way to spread 1, 2, 3, 4, that longitudinal steady. And then over time, we ascend that 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 over the span of the entire string set of the guitar. Up and down, right? We have to know how to come down. As descending, sometimes we'll have to practice more than the ascending, because it's sometimes, for some reason, it's harder for us to come down than it is to go up and descend. For some reason, I'm not really sure what that's all about. But it's the case. It's the fact, for me anyway. And I think it's generally well known, like, practice the thing descending until it's equally as effortless as the ascending. And then what I'm trying to do is combine that vertical climb, and I'm just basically making the rise and the rise of one. There's a rise of 1 fret and a run up of like 1 string. So 1 to 1, 1 up 1 fret up 1 string, and then I can move very quickly and span over the course of a larger string set. You know, instead of 4 notes and then I'm to the next, finally I'm to the next string, you know, and then 4 notes and then I'm finally to the next string, and then 4 notes. Sometimes you want to take, you want to take your time and just kind of make the climb last for as long as you can. But in this case, we just wanted to motor through for the purpose of exercising the guitar. We want to get to each string after 1 note expires. And that way we're waking up our hand to these new shapes. So we could actually do the same thing over the span of, you know, so if we're going to, this is speaking to our good friend Mr. McWenna's Guitar Grimoire exercise book. We're thinking, instead of, you know, 1 string at a time, maybe we could just introduce a string skip. So it's probably worth practicing all of those permutations, any permutation we can think of. And that's, did I help out with that at all? Gene, did I help out with that answer question? All right, I'm going to move on, and I want to just kind of recap what we started yesterday. We had 4 different shapes, and this kind of speaks to, you know, trying to help us harmonically get across the span of the string set with ease. But we have to memorize shapes to do that. So sometimes, you know, stacking 4s is another way to do that. So we're moving from 1 up a 4th, up another 4th, diatonic, up another 4th to the C major scale. Oh, that'd be C Lydian. Oops. So we have C major, 1, 4, major 7, and then 3. And we probably would finger that a different way so we can get, you know, finger or note separation. And I'm trying to play each, even though this is a double stop, I'm trying to roll from 1 string to the next so that we only have 1 string ringing at any given point. So the second shape would be the minor pentatonic, or the minor 7 shape. Some of us might prefer, you know, an alternate fingering to that, but it's, we can talk about that a little later. But the basic shape number 2, so the first shape was a 4, and then an augmented 4th, and then a perfect 4. You know, 4 stacked on top of 4s. Now we have a 4, and then another perfect 4, and then another perfect 4. And that's shape number 2. Shape number 3 is an augmented 4th, followed by a perfect 4th, followed by another perfect 4th. Here comes the dot. Right, so there's that Mendelssohn thing. Shape number 4, our final shape to memorize, is the 4, 4, 4, 4, and then augmented 4. And if we put all of those together in the same way we would go up from, like, let's say C, D, E, F, G, A minor, B diminished, and then C. We have that same thing happening in the major and like diatonic harmony, like 7th chord harmony. Ooh, hey, fingers getting a little smushy up there. Here we go. And then what we're doing is instead of using tertiary harmony or harmony stacked in 3s, we're going to stack harmony in 4s. And we're getting ready to jump, but stick around just for one more minute. Peace, Cruci tomorrow. Can I explain the exercise slowly? 𝘠𝘰𝘳𝘠𝘗 and 𝘠𝑚𝑒, the guitar grammar exercise book. Got it. And Gene, yes, good. Have a great day, everybody, and until tomorrow. Thank you, Kevin, for being here, and we really appreciate seeing you this morning. And travel well. Hello, our best to the 𝗕𝗏𝗵𝘴𝗵, the father of the family. And we'll see you tomorrow. So I'm just going to finish up, and then if you need to jump, I know I totally appreciate it, totally understand your time being that valuable. So if you jump, we'll see you tomorrow. Okay, 7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard. So we're starting with this 4, and then basically shape number 1, and then shape number 2, shape number 3, shape number 1, shape number 2. Shape number 2 again on fret number 7, shape number 3, and then shape number 4, shape number 2 again, shape number 2, shape number 1. It's a very powerful interval, the 4, right? Very powerful interval. So if we started here, that opens up some very powerful melodic doors for me. We'll end on Ionian, right? Horrible tone. It's just like I'm trying to overplay on the guitar, trying to ask too much out of it, you know? So really dialing in the tone. So I think what we'll do is we'll land there for today. I wanted to thank you all so much for being a meaningful part of what's going on here, and being willing to take some lead and start to produce some really meaningful content on your own YouTube channels for the benefit of the entire group. This is not all about me. This is about, we have friends, like students who, go through Oberlin, Berkeley. They're all over the world touring. They're good friends, good student friends, and I don't know if you know the Punch Brothers. Some of those are friends and friends of friends. And I just think there's a lot going on that is largely untapped with the American music resource, right? The state of the situation, you know, with Hollywood moving to a more hyper-local grassroots format and setting, and then you know, the American, you know, I don't know if you know who just won the country album of the year. I don't know, it's just raising questions. Our little antenna is just, our antennae, you're going like right now, and we're all sort of wondering a little bit about what's exactly going on in the music industry, I think. So we live in a really great time to be doing what the band Denim Dennis is doing, for example, to do the original thing that not everyone else is doing, but it's hard to forge that new path. You know, after a big snowstorm in Alaska, some of the jobs of those armies or the Marine, you know, one of the jobs after a major snowstorm, so that we can keep up with PT, is to get the Alaskan snowshoes on. This would be my job, is to go out and break a trail with a set of snowshoes. And when I'm going out in 4 feet of snow with a 40 or 80 pound backpack on and all my kit, and I'm breaking that trail, it's not as, the job needs to be done, right? It's not as easy a job as those who come after me to do the PT fitness, but it's also not their job to break the trail. It might be their job is a different job, to hurry past me, get to the hill, to the top of the hill, to do their next job, right? So, you know, this isn't about, I'm really, although I'd love to have company all year long. My reality is that after, you know, we all set New Year's resolutions to be better, you know, blah, 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 to complete the thing that we didn't do last year. And we all have these resolutions. So I kind of expect drop off, and I don't blame anybody for like not renewing the gym membership. But I have faith that you will continue your journey in the music world, whether you're here on this live stream or not. So there's my release. I don't want you to feel guilted into coming and participating. That's not what this is about. This is just about just developing an honest to goodness music culture where we're starting to dance around the fires again and pray for the rain, and then deal with the consequences of when the rain comes, right? So that's sort of where, you know, just to give you a little bit of an idea about why it is I'm doing what I am doing. It's number one, for my own benefit, and number two, well, it's for the benefit of the big man, and it's a sort of a praise thing for me. But then it's, you know, to benefit me, it's to benefit, add value to my own life, to my family, the life of my family, and my children, and my grandchildren, and my children's children, and all that stuff. And it's just so great to see. It's hard to not sound hokey when you say stuff like this, because it's people don't talk like this all the time. And we certainly, I feel we could use more of this kind of speak in the world. Just do the good thing, and trust that you're going to do the right thing. Trust that you're going to write the right thing, and then get it recorded and publish it, and then move on. Get the world, turn the, you know, get that inner mounting flame going. All right. Oh, let's play Creed. Higher intro request. I've got to, I'm keeping you 10 minutes over right now, and I usually end on right on the hour. I love Creed like you wouldn't believe, like number 19. Hello, Mr. Jason Richard. Hello, how are you? From Indonesia. Welcome from Indonesia. We'll see you again tomorrow morning at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And until that time, I wish you happy picking.